Filmmaker Mike Bennett and Brayden Olson openly discuss their journey together, forming a deeply moving portrait of Brayden's path to finding his father. The following conversation is an audio journal of their experiences. We hope you enjoy.
So we're back in the chair. It's been 6 months since our last podcast. Last time I saw you was in Italy at your wedding. Had an amazing wedding. I showed your mother part of the film we've been working on for 2 years.
I'm mad at you about that.
Yeah, you were pretty upset about that.
So what happened? You talked to my mom. She doesn't want to talk to me now. She can't handle it. So she didn't think it was impressive?
She thinks it's beautiful, yeah.
So what'd she say?
I just felt like we had to show her this thing's quite serious now. There's a real film underneath all of this. And I think your mom just thought, you know, maybe this is some rinky-dink kind of project that you and I have started. She knows there's a film being made, but the property had like 4 different chateaus or something on it.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And I took her to one of the chateaus where no one was at, and I kind of basically set up my laptop and just put the film. I put 10 minutes of the film, a condensed version of the film, onto my laptop, and she sat in this room and she watched it. And I walked away for 10 minutes. I came back 10 minutes later, but this is the first time she's seen Carlos. Yeah, she definitely watched it. So, because I filmed her watching it.
Oh, okay.
So it's her first time she ever saw your father since he ran off. You know, I took it for granted that I've just like keep seeing this guy, but she's never seen him. So the image she has in her head is of 36 years ago, when he's like a 25-year-old or something. Whereas the image I have is a 60-something-year-old man that works in Florida.
Did you talk to her about it?
After she finished watching it, I kind of busted into the room, and she's just like, she's in complete shock. She kind of takes her glasses off and she says,
Wow. Oh my God. Oh, you know what? Oh my gosh. I would never, if I ran into him, I would never have recognized him. Not in a million years. I would not have recognized him. Like, I would not have recognized him if I would have saw him. It's crazy because if I look at him, honestly, if I walked in to a store and saw him, like the only thing I recognized here, like the eyebrows and the eyes, and just that, the look, like his look, like when Brayden kind of, they have the same facial look. Yeah. But I would never have recognized him.
I wouldn't have even recognized him.
Had nothing to do with me. Once again.
Well,
it's always been about her and Carlos.
yeah, but I guess it's like that.
I know. I just want to point that out because that's always been a point of contention of like, it's never like, oh, I'm so happy or proud of you guys or proud of my son for doing it. It's like, that's not what I thought he looked like because it's always about like the way that I'm being very defensive right now.
Yeah.
Because I have some childhood issues.
Yeah, but I think she was shocked that we had gone and done this. Her initial reaction was one of defense. So I did tell Brayden about his father. She started getting into the weeds about like, he said, she said, you know, it's not my fault. And I was kind of like, whoa, back up here. Like, no one's pointing the finger at you. It's okay. This isn't about that. This is just about Brayden's journey to confront this guy who's his father. And she kind of came around, but it took her a couple of days later. She like came up to me in the house like 2 days later when I was making dinner. And she said like, I just want to thank you for doing this with him. Initially, I think she was shocked, and I don't think she thought she saw herself in a good light. I think she kind of felt better that Carlos wasn't the guy she remembered.
Maybe this is off topic, but just getting older and aging in general. My mom's not a fan of like getting older.
I mean, who is?
But she's like really every time I see her, it's like I'm getting old and blah blah. And I'm like, okay, that could be beautiful. But I think that her and Carlos is cemented in her brain forever as like a 25-year-old,
yeah,
you know, young couple, and it's like that's not the reality anymore.
Right.
I need to stop talking shit about my mom.
I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying like there's like a certain way that I view it.
But anyway, she's fully aware now that this is a real film. On the other side of this story, Carlos's partner, Pamela, who in the last episode we confront and we tell her and we show her your DNA results that proves Carlos is your father. And then she says she knows that Carlos is your father. You and her had a few phone conversations that went back and forth, and she was going to try to facilitate you meeting Carlos. And he basically, Yeah, she goes to
Dude, but like she was super like at one point she was calling me and texting me, was super supportive, and I just, you know, maybe it goes both ways. I didn't text her, but she never got back to me when she said she was working on it. So I think it's like what's that saying? Like out of sight, out of mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like maybe they're just like, all right, let's just move on, and that's
over, but it's not over.
Yeah, and I guess now we've let it rest for 6 months.
which I'm a little nervous of. Like, did we wait too long? Did they live there? Did they pack up and move? But I guess no, because
I did try to do a bit of stalking the other day, but I don't know.
I don't think they went
So
anywhere.
now we came up with a plan the last couple of days. You were going to fly back to Florida, go talk to Pamela again, Carlos's partner.
well, no, plan was you were gonna approach.
Right, and then I was going to show him the film that I showed your mother because I felt like that would be fair.
And
I wanted you to do that. I would guess I was too scared to do it.
Or...
Yeah, so I was like, okay, God, now I'm being thrown into the spotlight. Then we've kind of gone, no, let's put you back in the spotlight. This is your story,
Well, so
your father.
I want to talk about what I was saying.
Yeah,
So I think that me going to his wife, well, I guess this goes back to my mom. So basically, I feel like if I was Carlos, I'd be pretty upset that I didn't come to him, and that I came to his wife, who has nothing to do with this, and I roped her in and potentially ruined her day, or like,
like part of their marriage.
or like used her to like,
I should have, even though she was like, thank you for coming to me first, that was probably a better idea. I think it might have made it worse, because now it's like, this guy he can't even like man up and come talk to me, even though he never did to me.
so you're thinking that Carlos looks at you like he can't even man up and come to me.
Yeah, like if he wants to come and talk to me, come talk to me. He knows where I'm at. I'm not going to respond to him. He can come talk to me. If I could get into his
Brain, that's what I was.
Because I guess you kind of had that mentality towards him. You thought he should man up and come to you.
if I was him, I'd be pretty pissed if they didn't come to me directly.
Okay, so now,
We used her as a buffer because we were scared. We should have just went to him.
but I've obviously gone to him, and I've
But under different.
yeah, and I've asked him if he has kids, and he's denied it. So I don't know. It was so difficult to figure out, and I think we made the right call. But now you're saying,
Now I don't think we send you in again. I think I go,
yeah,
as much as I don't want to.
yeah. So the new plan is Brayden will fly down with me to Florida, and Brayden will go directly to Carlos and say, "Hi, I'm your son," and you're gonna do the whole man up thing, and we'll see what his reaction is. How we film that is a whole nother thing too.
I think I'd like to propose that we go and get a beer or something. I don't really want to interrupt him in his work setting.
You don't have a choice. That's the only spot you can kind of catch him.
I could wait till he's off and he's leaving.
I think do it in the morning when he's fresh. He's fried by the end of the day. I've gone there in the afternoons and he's just not kind of coherent.
Okay, or do we go to Pam and say, look, he needs to sit down with me?
He's like you. You can't really like force him into a situation. He'll just do the opposite. So I think you do need to confront him in the morning when he first.
I'm getting really hot right now.
I mean, it's a big thing. Now you're just going to go directly up to him and say, hey, why haven't you contacted me?
We'll flesh this out a bit more.
Mind you, we only came up with this last night. Other idea was to go back down to Pamela and just show her the film or part of the film and then say, hey, you really need to like help us connect with Carlos. He needs to speak with Brayden.
So we'll do one of those things. And then what?
And then
The movie's over?
No, I mean, I think it's about really understanding Carlos. I have like my own opinions and what I think happened to him as a child. I won't go into them yet. And I would also like to retrace that and go back to Brazil where he grew up. And I think
Maybe his dad's still alive. Did you ever say anything?
I mean, my gut feeling is that Carlos grew up in some sort of,
Or maybe he didn't meet his dad.
I think his dad disappeared pretty early. Yeah, I don't know. I won't go into it. But
So
the plan is to go to Brazil at some point and you to discover, part of you and explore that culture that you've never seen or felt, and then for Carlos to show you that, hopefully, and then to meet relatives down there and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
But first things first, you and Carlos have got to meet. Still haven't met. He knows about you.
He's had more than enough time.
Yeah, he's had a good 6 months now. I think maybe you do have to pressure him a bit. Like, you're not going anywhere. You want to meet him.
Yeah.
So it's just about making that happen. I also want to just reiterate, making a feature film is hard, and we're doing it with no one's help. And financially, it's hard. It's not easy. So to any other filmmakers out there that are kind of feeling like that, you know, it is difficult. And the reason this film is done in like blocks over long periods of time is because
real life.
Yeah, real life has to happen slowly, and then we have to work to earn money to go back on the road and make this film. How do you feel about the project now?
I'm terrified.
You're still terrified?
I just think no one's gonna want to watch this. I just think I just think
What's the point?
I'm very like negative about it, but also I'm trying to support you and us and being like, well, you know, don't worry, like it doesn't. But I'm like, well, yeah, of course, like, you know, it's not gonna be anything. It's like I'm just like in denial,
Right?
Because I don't want to get like excited about anything. I just kind of want to like see what happens and see where it goes and see like if Carlos wants to meet me, and if like I guess my mind isn't on the side of like, let's sell this documentary. Like,
No.
like,
Yeah.
I'm like on the other side of like,
But mine isn't either. I just want to finish it properly. I want to like do the
like all those things would be great and nice, but like my reality is like, well, you know, like whatever.
right.
But I kind of like that with a lot of shit. And so
Yeah.
it's probably not super healthy, but I think for this, it's just so.
But what about like just getting to this moment of like meeting Carlos?
I am in denial that it's gonna happen or that I want to do it, and I'm gonna.
So the way you
make it
think,
really hard for me.
right? So the way you think about the film is the same about meeting Carlos. You're like,
Yeah, I mean, until I'm sitting there and sweating profusely in front of him and like pacing back and forth, I almost can't comprehend. Like, I actually don't want to do it. We could stop right now and just be done with this whole thing.
the thing is, if we stopped right now, we still would have a pretty interesting film.
Yeah.
But I think as any
Let's
doc,
say that we go and he just refuses to meet me and we can't do it. I think it'd be fun to go to Brazil and try and track down his brother, track down someone else in the family just to like see my side of the family.
but what's the feeling like of what do you want him to essentially say?
I guess
feel
I would
towards
want to
you?
just know his side of the story
Right. So
from him.
you are curious about that.
I would want to know his side of the story, what happened, and then I want him to know that I don't give a fuck about whatever happened. It doesn't matter to me. Just like my mom takes it super personal. It's like,
He made his choice, I made my choice.
Yeah.
Just like own up and meet Brayden, and not like you have to go on father-son outings, but I think that they would enjoy each other. Just
Yeah.
like, it's nothing but gonna enrich him. Wow. I mean, he's probably just very conflicted. I mean, you have to be when you have this huge thing in your life that I can't imagine the weight he must be carrying, because it's got to be hard. Can you imagine?
Oh.
I don't really care. I just want to hear from him and then like have an understanding that, cool, if you're ever in Florida, like if you want to get a beer or whatever, like I'm not looking for a dad, right?
Yeah.
I'm not looking for that. But if I had a kid, it'd be cool to be like, hey, this is your grandson, or like, you know,
Yeah.
just like very basic, on the most basic of human level things. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm in New York for this gem show. Cool, let's get lunch.
Mm-hmm.
That seems sad and like reaching a little bit.
Right.
But I don't really want anything other than just like a normal, like cordial.
Yeah.
Like there's no bad blood.
A friendship. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a friendship, just like an acquaintance,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Who recognizes you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically someone who's not ignoring that he has a son.
Yeah.
Just say, oh, cool. Okay. You know what? I do have a son. He doesn't want anything. He seems pretty cool, or he seems like a fucking idiot, but that's him.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
There's
Send me a
gotta-
photo of the dinner that you made.
Yeah.
It'd just be so stupid.
Yeah. I think there's like I think there's a sense of pride with Carlos of like not wanting to admit to himself that he's kind of like done something wrong.
Yeah. And I can see, but I can kind of feel that too. Like I do that shit too.
Mm-hmm.
But this is also me reaching, trying to relate. I have no idea. We could be totally different.
Yeah. And then there's another thing of, I think there's some generational trauma in there of like, this has happened to him.
Yeah.
And he's a mixed bag. Like if you look at his ethnicity chart, it's
I think
crazy. It is the wildest thing ever. I think there's layers to him that go back really far. Is that there's a reason he did what he did. It's like, it's in the DNA that goes back a long, long, long time. So you can't like,
I think he'd want to tell his story.
yeah.
I think that's what we need to get out of him. Have we ever played any of the clips from Pam?
We could play them. Yeah. Pam is
why don't we end this show right now? Insert clip of Pam the last time she left me a message.
just for reference, Pam is Carlos's partner of 35
Just
years.
to kind of like, that's kind of where we left off, is me talking to her. So we should play that clip again.
Just to refresh, and then to note that nothing has been followed up.
Since whatever she
Yeah, it kind of like, it went dead.
Okay, well.
The communication line between you and her went dead. She kind of reiterated, which I can play the clip.
Hello?
Oh,
Hey.
hi. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm okay. Oh, no, this is hard. I just wanted to touch base with you. I did not want to just not talk
No,
to you
no,
or
thank
say
you.
anything to you. Of course, he's going to need some time for this.
I know.
This is just not something he ever expected, really, honestly. I mean, honestly. He thought this was done 30-something years ago, and he did not think that he had a child.
But she reiterated that he's having a hard time, and he, being Carlos, is having a hard time coming to terms with dealing with it. He has a son.
That his son is working with Mikey Bennett. All right. Thanks for tuning into my podcast.
Oh,
With
okay.
help from Mr. Michael.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Till then, bye.